That was on here.
Okay, let's see what.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to our last meeting in June. Our invocation this afternoon begun by Councilman Kyle Newton. Respect the flag be led by Councilman Diane Chapman. Please rise.
Let us pray. Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, wisdom, support in this meeting, to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow close not only as a group, but also to nurture the bonds. Fill us with your grace, and remind us that all we do here today is for the greater glory of you, purpose and man. That's in your name.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes of the June 10th meeting have been distributed. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Not hearing any, do I have a motion to approve? So first by Mr. Newton, second by Mr. Harbin. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The minutes of June 10th pass unanimously. I have a couple items of old business, and the first item is request second reading of ordinance 19-06, adopting the budget for the fiscal year 2019-2020. Ms. McEwen?
Mr. Mayor and City Council, appreciate your consideration to the second reading of the budget ordinance, and for the benefit of the council and our audience and the public, I'm going to recap some of the items that are in the budget. As you're aware, the city manager is required to present a balanced budget to the city council, meaning that revenues match expenditures, and the council is required to adopt an annual budget. The budget orders before you is the fiscal year commencing July the 1st, 2019, and ending June the 30th, 2020. The council did hold a work session on this to look through the budget, review it, make comments, suggestions on May 22nd. And also a public hearing was held on June the 10th, with first reading on June the 10th council meeting as well, with this being the second and final reading tonight. The budget highlights is a total budget of $78.9 million. The budget provides no tax increase and maintains the millage at 116 mills. There's no reduction in services. We're seeing growth from the general fund revenue and the hospitality tax revenue, which really contributes to a healthy economy. That's a lot of where we're seeing the growth from. Is we're seeing a growing economy. We're in a good place as far as economic development and business expansion and new businesses opening it up, and we're seeing a lot of that reflected in this year's budget. Some of the new revenue coming in. Also seen an uptick in the residential building activity. And again, more jobs, more households. And so we're seeing that, and hopefully that will continue to trend as it has been. The budget does maintain the city's financial metrics with general fund unassigned fund balance of 33%, which is roughly 4 months of general fund expenditures. And just to benchmark that, the GFOA, who provides the guidance to us on putting together our budgets and our auditing and accounting standards, recommends that you have 16.7% or 2 months. So we do have a healthy fund balance, and that was a goal of this year's budget, to maintain that so that we're ready for any unexpected expenses that could come our way. In the utility funds, we are in the second year of capital investment, which also brings with it a rate path of 6% for water and 3.5% for sewer for investment and capital for both the water and sewer, including new water lines, sewer lines, and so that we can continue to serve our growing area and also stay environmentally sustainable. As far as personnel, there's no health insurance premium increases. That's a good thing. We've done a good job managing our different health with our employees through our health clinic, and so we haven't seen an increase there on our premiums based on our experience rating. It also includes matching inflation, a 2.25% cost of living adjustment for city employees, and it adds 3 new firefighter positions, a building maintenance technician position, and a beautification horticulturist position. So in addition to the operating budget, the capital fund includes $3.1 million in capital improvements, City Hall complex renovation, it's about to get underway, $2.8 million, Fire Station 1 sleeping quarter upgrades, $300,000. $1.2 million in what we call rolling stock. That's our equipment, anything that basically has tires on it and moves and we use on a daily basis. And it includes $1.2 million in that, $855,000 being funded by a lease purchase. It includes a parking garage for $5.5 million, and that is to be built at the corner of Market and Meduffy as we have a new development there get started soon. And so the recreation projects, good many recreation projects that are included, a $9.9 million total projects, $2.1 million cash funded projects. We have work on the recreation center, downtown crosswalks downtown, under the bridge phase 2, and some miscellaneous projects as well on our parks that we have and maintain. We also have a big project, and that's a $7.8 million, and which includes building out and completing the recreation center complex, park, and also down south to B. Thompson Park, and connect to downtown as well. And then the water fund, we have $2.6 million in capital improvements, and sewer fund $2.1 million in capital improvements. And that number there really allows us to continue the investment in our water and sewer lines on a cash basis and move forward, and we're doing well there as far as keeping up with growth, capacity needs, and environmentally managing it appropriately. With that, Mayor, I would recommend, staff recommends the adoption of the budget on second final reading.
Thank you, sir. We had some discussion at the first reading. Is there any comments, discussion? First by Mr. John Roberts. Second by Mr. Chap. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We have a budget. Thank you. Thanks, everybody involved.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Appreciate it.
Our second item, old business, is request second reading of ordinance 19-07 to rezone 1509 East River Street from R5 single-family residential to LO limited office. Mr. McEwen.
Mayor and Council, we received an application to rezone the property at this location or bring it into zoning compliance. The property was operating as a hair salon and was operating actually in non-conforming use in residential or R5. And the application brought before you is to rezone that to limited office, which is LO, and it allows for some commercial activity, but really based around a list of items that are allowed, that are restrictive, and that match a neighboring or match a neighborhood, a residential area around that. So it's LO is a good classification for this area, and so if it was going to be rezoned to anything, we would recommend to limited office with the restrictions that it has.
Thank you. Comments, questions? Ms. Stewart?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to take a moment to address our applicant's representative, Mr. Simpson. Mr. Simpson, I've had, I was kind of all for, what you were wanting to do over there, and kind of had some reservations as I came by there today and saw numerous U-Haul trucks in the parking lot. And I thought about, tabling this decision and till another time and not approving it, but I don't want to stop you from using the property as office, limited office. But I would like to caution you is that, you're in violation right now, and whoever you decide to lease this building out to, any violations are those fines and tickets are gonna come back to you. They're not gonna come back to the person you're leasing the building to. So in the morning, and every morning after that, you know, this is in a very high visible area. A lot of traffic on Shockley Ferry and River Street, so it's just not like, you know, we're trying to ride up the road just to see what you're doing. It's just in a high visible area right there, and it's very noticeable. And when our staff goes out there tomorrow, you know, I think they've already, written some summons before, they can just go straight to the procedure and issue you the summons, and then it's up to the judge to fine you whatever that is to make it come into compliance. And, again, just would like to caution you and, ask you, because I hate to see you get fined. I want to see you do well over there with whatever you do, make the business be profitable for you and be a good fit for the neighborhood. But again, you just need to let your tenants know, whoever it may be, that, hey, here's what's allowable. If you have questions of what is allowable and what is not allowable, please get with Mr. McKenzie, our, planning and zoning director. He will let you know what is allowable and, kind of go from there. But with that, I'll make a motion that we'll approve it. It's on second and final reading.
First by Mr. Stewart. Second by Mr. Roberts. Sir, you have anything to say?
Yeah. If you're online. You know, I like Anderson. And, I've had that building for 25 years. Never had the first problem with it. Never had any calls or anything. And, I just feel like Tony here, he tried to buy the building from me, and, I wouldn't sell it to him. But ever since then, I felt like he's just been against me for some reason. Have you got something against me, Tony?
No, sir, I sure don't. The only thing that, and just to set the record straight, you know, I think, when you had the building for sale, that is correct. You know, I buy several properties. I have several rental properties in the area. The price you was asking was a lot more, so I declined on that.
Well,
But since then, let me finish. Since then, the building lost its conformance because it went out of business and it reverted back
yeah,
to residential. And, had Will, you know, I met with you and your applicant on site. Think Mr. McKenzie met with you in your office, in his office, kind of told what you wanted to do. Those stories were different, so it's been kind of going back and forth, and I don't want to get in, you know, everything that was said the day we were met, but there was some very, you know, unprofessional comments that were made that day about the neighborhood, and you know what you said. I'm not gonna say that, you know, publicly, but you know what you said. And you know, but that being said, I want you to see it. You know, if I didn't want you to approve, if I didn't want to do it, I would make a motion that we table this to a further time. But if you heard what I said, that I'll make a motion that we move forward to go with it. I just want to let you know that you're a tenant over there because, again, you know, he tried to get me to say, hey, if you let me do what you want me to do over here, I'll work on all your cars free. You ain't got to pay for nothing.
yeah,
You know,
I didn't hear
we don't
that.
operate like that. You know, we go by the law, and the law says what you can do, and Mr. McKenzie's going to enforce that.
I've always,
I'm just wanting you to know that if your tenant, who you have control over, you know, I'm not gonna have anything to do with this once we make this approval to go forward. Everything else is in our code officials' hands to go, you know, to make sure it's in compliance, just like any other business over there. So we're not treating your business any different than any other business.
pray that this goes through. I
Well-
abide by the law. I live right. I pay my tithes. I pay my taxes. I just want my fair share of living here and making my money.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously on the second reading. Now, one item, new business, and that's request consideration of a contract for industrial pretreatment program services. Ms. McCune.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is a contract renewal for industrial pre-treatment program service for our wastewater division. Our wastewater division oversees the environmental compliance and management of industrial discharges into our wastewater stream. And therefore, as part of the EPA and DHEC, we're required to mandate those discharges into our stream and make sure that we're able to treat for that. And I'm gonna let Mr. Jeff Caldwell, the Utilities Director, go over the details of the contract and our implementation of this last year, and just a reminder of why we moved forward with using a third party.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as a reminder, our wastewater department does manage the industrial pretreatment program for the city of Anderson and Anderson County industrial customers that discharge into one of our treatment plants. And the pretreatment program is basically set up to make sure that the way our treatment plants were designed upfront to treat water to meet the discharge limits, that the water coming in that we can, allows us to pass that through and still meet those limits. So how that is accomplished is through individual permits with industries. And we have 14 current industries in our program. And last year, we had a staffing change, and with this highly regulatory program, there's always a lot of changes coming about. So we sought out a company to contract those services with, and Goldie Associates is one of the leading experts in the pretreatment field. And so we discussed that with them and looked at a cost for us. They will provide monthly monitoring, review of monthly monitoring reports as part of that program, perform annual inspections. They do our semi-annual and annual pretreatment reports to DHEC and to EPA, and they do review those permits each month for any violations that may come about, and they'll pass those on to us, and then we pass those on to our industries. Under the annual contract, Goldie and Associates will perform those duties for $4,500 a month, $4,000 a year, and it includes 215 industries, and we currently, like I said, have 14. With the budget that just passed, we did anticipate this program, this contract in that budget, so there is no additional funding impact. And with that, we would ask for your approval of an annual contract with Goldie to administer our pretreatment program for $54,000.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Ms. Stewart?
Mr. Caldwell, I know you mentioned that Goldie and Associates is familiar with our pretreatment program. What are they are they providing services for us right now? And then is it something that let's just say sole source, or did we look at other opportunities? And then the second part of that question is that in your proposal here, Goldie and Associates says that their $54,000 proposal is only good for 60 days. It's just that this contract expired April the 19th, or I think it's, April the 19th, and they have the right to come back and up this contract. Are they going to increase this price, or because this contract is invalid?
So yeah, I did talk with them earlier, and probably several months ago, and made sure that they were good with that. That's the same price they charged us this year, and they intend to move forward with that price. They are currently performing the services for us this year.
Okay.
In the past, they have performed other services. They have actually revised our sewer use ordinance as part of as part of our entire sewer program. Which, part of that details the pretreatment program.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Harvey?
Mr. Caldwell, I saw that we have 14 industries currently on there. Do we anticipate any growth or any shrinkage in that, or what?
We had one roll off last year and one come on, so we kind of stayed level. We have had one industry come in, and they're looking and seeing if it's something that they can do. They're currently on a septic tank, so they're currently looking to see if the financial part works out for them.
Good. Any other questions?
Make a motion that we approve this contract with Goldie and Associates, $54,000.
Second.
First by Mr. Stewart, second by Mr. Harvin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Jeff. Administrative briefing, Ms. McEwen.
Just a couple items. This is, of course, our last meeting in June. Also tonight, just to bring your attention, Shakespeare in the Park, it's their last night performing at Carolina Wren Park at 8 p.m. It's been a very successful event, at Carolina Wren Park, and, we've had a lot of people attend it, a lot of great feedback. We appreciate, our economic development department. I see Ms. Spears here, and also, the recreation department and all their help and assistance putting this together and supporting, this program, but it's brought a lot of people in from out of town. I've heard a lot of people from out of town give positive comments to it as they do each year. So just want to remind you, well, last night to see is tonight, and then we'll have another one, and we'll look forward to next year. Moving into July, can't believe it's July already. The city will be observing July 4th, so offices will be closed that day. Our next council meeting is scheduled for July the 8th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. It was a good show, Shakespeare in the Park. Also want to thank Anderson University and Market Theater for their contribution. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. First by Mr. Roberts, second by Mr. Lockridge. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned.